I like how the village seems back to normal now. It's been a little over a month since we last saw it, so now it's all repaired. Very cool. Something I also think is cool is that we see some of the characters after the Chunin exams. We see Team Kurenai training, as well as Neji and Tenten. Also, on a side note, Akamaru Piss Jutsu is crazy.
It must be so nice to have something you're good at and that you love like the three of you have.
This line further shows that Akamaru should not have been able to participate in the prelims. Hinata literally addresses the dog like a person and not a ninja tool. And I'm still not letting that go, by the way, because it makes zero sense. Konohamaru's classmates still have continuity. Like, Obito Goggles Kid is still around.
Those are my grandfather's things. Where do you think you're taking them?
Honorable grandson,
I said, where are you taking them? They belong to my grandfather!
You guys probably know at this point, I don't like Konohamaru. But I think there's something that should be said about this moment. The idea that Konohamaru, a young kid, can't process why people are taking things out of where his grandfather worked seems realistic in a weird way. In a young kid's mind, that's Hiruzen's area, not the Hokage's. With that being said though, I don't need to like it, and I don't like Konohamaru, so...
The 5th Hokage has finally been chosen. It's a big relief to the whole village.
I think there's something that should be said about this too. A grandchild being scared that his grandfather might be replaced and thrown away is actually a good moment. That's at least how I interpret it, and again, it's realistic. In fact, the next episode, even though it's filler, take advantage of the fact that Konohamaru is really young.
Who are you, and what are you doing here?
What am I doing here? Well, what are you doing here, you pesky little runt?
First off, no, I'm not showing it. Second, it's kind of cool that Tsunade is kind of like an anti-Hokage. She's not gonna take anyone's shit, and she'll actively be rude and mess with people. And she does say at the end of episode 96 that she isn't anyone's definition of perfect. So she isn't a perfect Hokage, and she won't act like an authority figure unless she needs to. Can they, like, stop holding Tauntaun like that? I don't think that's how you hold a pig, or any animal for that matter.
You watch your step.
Random thought, but this is overall a kind of weird dynamic. Tsunade is Hiruzen's student, Konohamaru is Hiruzen's grandkid, so they have some sort of connection to each other, but probably neither of them actually know that.
Yeah, she's the 5th Hokage, you deaf?
See, like, here's a cool comparison. Konohamaru, a super young kid, can't understand why there's a new Hokage so quickly, while Naruto, the almost teenager, think there's a word for that, can perfectly understand it. And while yes, Konohamaru probably liked Hiruzen a lot more cause they're, well, related, Naruto still had pretty important dialogue during his funeral about his death, showing how much it bothered him too. So a lot of Konohamaru's struggles with that has to do with maturity, and that's pretty cool.
7. There are 7 birds within 50 meters of pillar number 2.
Okay, if you haven't noticed already, there's like fuck all to analyze in this episode, which is why I'm only talking about stuff I like, so I might as well just say this too. I like how Neji's training has to do with free birds. It furthers the symbolism of Neji previously being a bird in a cage, that is now free post-Chunin exams.
There were 8 birds.
This is actually a cool tease to Neji's weakness. He originally called 7 birds, but now he's correcting himself, saying there was 8, showing that the 8th bird was actually in his blind spot.
Hey, haven't you heard the news? Lady Tsunade's returned!
Tenten's actually the first person to ever mention Tsunade, so obviously she would be clearly excited that she's in town. Also, this is probably how people just find out there's a new Hokage, just from word of mouth. Unless there's some sort of village newspaper, and I'm not talking about that terrible filler episode in the Chunin exams.
Can't we just skip the ceremonies? They're such a bore.
Tsunade!
It's cool that Tsunade and the elders have immediate differences. It sets up their dynamic later on, which would honestly feel somewhat out of place without something like this right now.
Emma!
Here.
Alba!
Here.
What did Goggles just answer to? Alba? They either just messed up or it has to be a code name. There's no way.
What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be somewhere stuffing your face?
How about you? You're usually still asleep this time of day.
Hey, listen. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, random thought, but do shinobi have to, like, clock in? I don't mean to talk about employment. We don't like that over here. But, like, what's a shinobi's hours? Sure, Genin meet up with squad leaders and that's kind of when their day starts, but what about Chunin? I might just have to make a whole separate video about this kind of stuff, because there's just too many questions.
Hey, do they know each other?
Greetings, Lady Tsunade. It's been a long time.
This is cool. Shikaku, someone clearly important in the village, shows a ton of respect to Tsunade, showing how big of a deal she actually is. A while ago, Jiraiya got similar treatment, and it was to show the same exact thing.
Okay, but I mean a woman Hokage? Not to sound prejudiced or anything, but is that such a good idea?
It sounds prejudiced. This moment actually does a lot for Shikamaru's character, and oh my god, have I been waiting for it. Currently, there's a couple traits you can use to describe Shikamaru. I'm just gonna throw out a couple here. Lazy, strategic, misogynistic. This moment punishes him for that misogyny, as he gets scolded by Shikaku. After this moment, he does start to stray away from that misogynistic side little by little, and by Shippuden, it's pretty much gone. And not only does this tell the viewer that sexist? Boo. But it also plays into Shikamaru's character arc, one that deals with growing into a healthier version of his own identity.
May I come in?
Who are you? Whoever she is, she's beautiful.
This being the first ever interaction that Sakura and Tsunade have is really good. It's casual, but also just long enough to be something that the viewer notices and thinks about. And if this initial interaction didn't seem so noteworthy, then Sakura becoming her student might have felt forced, so great job. This is a subtle but cool moment, but instead of looking over to him, she's looking over to Sakura crying, showing that she's taking notice to her too, making the first interaction between her and Sakura not seem so one-sided on Sakura's part. Sasuke waking up is actually kinda sad, cause even though he's woken up, you can just tell he's not all the way there. In his head, he's back at the hotel, being put under Tsukiyomi by Itachi.
To be taken completely out of the game by two low-life punks like that, I thought you were supposed to be the best.
Sorry to disappoint you.
A chunk of this episode is just about Tsunade being introduced to other characters, and Kakashi's might just tell us the most. Tsunade clearly thinks somewhat highly of him, but it also looks like they already know each other kinda well. For example, Tsunade kinda makes fun of him, calling him the best as somewhat of a joke.
Yes! He's more than a student, he's like a son.
I see.
Okay, holy tone switch. For real though, this shows that Tsunade kinda condemns the idea from her perspective. Cause if she can't help him, which she can't, Guy's reaction as his teacher might not be totally rational, which it isn't.
Turn him down if you don't have the manpower.
Use your head, Naruto. If we started turning down missions, it would be the same thing as telling the world that our village is weak.
It's kinda cool that Iruka teaches this to Naruto. It's weird, but even though he's an academy teacher, he's still putting in work for this absolute goober.
You may be asked to carry out missions too, and to fight battles you're not ready for yet.
Okay, this is actually a really important line from Iruka, and here's why. If you don't have Iruka saying this, then Tsunade getting Shikamaru to put together a team of genin to bring Sasuke back just wouldn't make any sense. But now that we know the village is short-staffed and that it forces genin to go on more dangerous missions, bringing Sasuke back with some genin makes a little more sense from a newer Hokage's perspective.
No one will hold it against you if you give up on being a shinobi.
Holy bombshell, by the way. This is literally the first line of this scene. Like, that's a crazy tone setter.
No one but me could even attempt the operation. But even with my skills, the chances of it being successful are 50-50 at best.
So that was a fucking lie.
This is actually really good. It provides a conflict towards the end of the arc, and it forces Lee into a really tough decision by the end of it, all while making Lee a much more compelling character.
And if it should fail, he'll die.
This makes the stakes even higher. It's not that if it fails, it'll be impossible for him to be a shinobi, it's that he's genuinely gonna die. This puts Lee at a point where he has to think about what's more valuable to him, his dream or his life. His answer to that pushes somewhat of a message, but I'll talk about that when we get there.
Lee!
This is the reaction of somebody who has everything stacked up against him and was told to give up on what keeps him going. He's silent. He doesn't have any outbursts or anything like that. It's just silence. Cause how do you even respond to that? He was just given a stupidly impossible choice to make, one that forces him to question everything. He either lives his life and kills his dream, or he dies trying to achieve it. It's genuinely executed so well, and captures that feeling perfectly. And, anyways, this episode is low-key, like, boring as hell up until the end, but boring can be good sometimes. And this episode's style of boring is okay, like, only half the time. It's fine when Tsunade's waking everyone up, and it's fine when Shikamaru comes in, obviously, but the rest is the bad kind of boring with some okay moments shining through. I think seeing some of the genin post-Chunin exams is pretty cool, and, yeah. The second half of this episode is pretty good, though. We see the first interaction of Sakura and Tsunade, we see Sasuke wake up, and oh my god, the final scene is insane. And honestly, I said everything I need to say about this episode. In fact, it was pretty much just saying everything I like, so, yeah. If you want to support me more than just watching this video, you can become a member on Patreon. Next episode, Sensei and Student, the bond of the shinobi.